Hello, this is Billy Core from the Nostalgia Mall, and here's a computer that was only seen once on this channel this past year, but now it's finally time to break it out once again. This is the iMac G3 from, I believe, 1999. As many people corrected me in previous statements on this machine, this is not the very original. I think this was like the second revision. But this is the Bondi blue color, my favorite color for these. I got this from a friend of mine when I bought my Packard Bell Legend 204 CD back in February of this year. He sold me the Packard Bell, but also gave this to me as kind of a little surprise, so I was very grateful to receive this little gift. Now, unfortunately, it's been about 6 months since the last time I powered this on. I played with it for about a month or so, and then had to set it aside for other projects I was working on, and so it's kind of fallen by the wayside. It's now currently October. Last time I used it was probably March, maybe April, but probably March. So it's been about 6 months since this computer was last turned on. So I don't know if it's even going to turn on or not, because when I was first using this computer back in February or so, I had a problem where I would turn the iMac on and it would bong, but then after a few seconds it would just lose power. So I'm thinking there's a power supply problem in here, and as you can imagine, this is pretty much completely different from a regular computer. You can't easily replace the power supply in one of these, so oh well, it was a freebie, so I've had my fun with it, but hopefully we'll have a little bit more fun with this computer tonight. As you know, when it comes to vintage Macintoshes, this is my one of my favorites, because I remember first seeing these in the library of my elementary school when they first got a whole bunch of these back in the latter part of 1998 when I first started 3rd grade. And while I was never really a fan of Macs, in fact I still kind of not, I think they're cool, but I'm more of a PC guy, but I just always loved the look of these machines. They were very cool looking, and I'm sure you probably know the story of how Apple was struggling throughout the 90s until Steve Jobs came back and introduced the iMac G3, because it was a completely redesigned and completely different from the beige box Macintoshes from the 90s, so it really set them apart and put them back on the map. So this computer pretty much saved Apple computers, which is really cool. And I've always been a sucker for all-in-one PCs anyway, particularly the older ones from the 90s. This one, as you can imagine, isn't my favorite because it's not PC based. My dream all-in-one computer would be the Packard Bell Spectria, which was, as you can imagine, an all-in-one mid-90s Packard Bell, and that is definitely on my list of Packard Bells to get whenever I can. But they're a little bit rare, actually very rare. They're actually rarer than the corner Packard Bell. So, yeah, that might be a while. So, in fact, E-Machines actually had a all-in-one computer that looked very similar to this, and I'm sure y'all know about that. Apple came along and said, "That's not fair, you copied us, I'm going home, I'm taking my toys with me." Okay, it didn't go that way, but they basically sued E-Machines, and the all-in-one E-Machine went away. So, one major change to this computer from the last time you saw it, in fact this is what prompted me to bring this computer back out of storage tonight. I was in Winston-Salem yesterday at Goodwill and came across an iMac G3 keyboard. Now, unfortunately, I don't believe this is the right color to match this. This is more of a gray-looking one, but and it's not in the best of shape. The control key right here likes to get stuck. But this is better than what I was using before. I was using the white chiclet keyboard from the late 2000s on here. But this is better than what I had before, and it will last me until I can get the right color G3 keyboard. So, let's go ahead and see if this computer still works. Again, this computer has not been turned on at all in roughly 6 months. So let's hope it still works. And the nice part about this keyboard is that, unlike before, I'm now able to power this computer on via the keyboard, assuming it will power on. So, whoa, I just noticed we got a stuck enter key there on the numpad. Okay, I need to make a mental note not to use some of the keys on this keyboard. Again, this keyboard is not perfect, but it will last me until I can get a more proper keyboard. So, fingers crossed, here we go. Okay, we got the chime. That's usually when it would power off, when it would initialize the display, but so far so good. Okay, we got a Happy Mac icon, running macOS 9.2. It's the copy I put on it. Oh, and this iMac was having a problem with the CRT flickering, which I think is related to the powering off problem as well, so this iMac might not be long for this world. Specs, I forget the CPU speed, but it's obviously a G3. It's got 128 megs of RAM, originally had 64, but I upgraded that. And it originally had a 6 gig Western Digital hard drive, but I upgraded it to a 15 gig drive. And, believe it or not, okay, quick time error there. Believe it or not, I'm noticing the clock is still working, but that's probably because when I got this computer I replaced the PRAM battery in it. So that's good to go. But wait a minute, let me just check. Okay, it's actually 5 minutes off, and my best friend just sent me a video message, so I need to check in with her, and I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. It's my best friend down there near Raleigh, who I don't get to talk to very much, so I had to take care of that. But anyway, clock is about 5 minutes too fast, but considering this computer's been off for 6 months, that's actually pretty impressive. Okay, I'm going to have to warn you guys ahead of time. The refresh rate is going to mess with the camera tonight, so I did check to see if I could turn the refresh rate down on here, but it wouldn't let me go below 75 Hertz. At least I think it was 75 Hertz. So, yeah, we're just going to have to deal with that. Sorry about that. But anyway, let's see what all I installed on here 6 months ago. First, let's do about this computer. Okay, we're running macOS 9.2.2, the newest version of OS 9. This computer can, I believe, run macOS 10, the early versions of 10, but I really don't want to do that. It, for one, probably be a little bit slow, and two, OS 9 is a little bit more retro and fits my needs more for what I intend this computer for. Because I want to use this computer for playing old edutainment games that we used to play at school, stuff like that. So OS 9 suits the bill a little bit better. So let's see what we got installed here. We've got actually, let's go to System Profiler. Okay, Actually got 160 megs of RAM. 6 megs of video memory. I believe it's an ATI 3D card. 333 megahertz G3 CPU. So, yeah. Okay, now on to the software. I know I keep saying that. And it's been a while since I've used Mac OS, so forgive me if I'm a little bit not so accurate. Okay, I believe this is what we have to do. Go to Macintosh HD, and let's see what kind of goodies we have on here. Again, apologies for the flickering. Let's see, we got AppleWorks 5. This was a must-have application on Macs back in the day. Keep in mind, I seldom used Macs when I was a kid. As you know, I was used to our Packard Bell Legend 822 and my aunt's Gateway 2000, both of which were IBM compatibles. So I never really had much experience with Macs as a kid, aside from the ones we had at school. I remember not really being a fan of the computers at school because they were Macs and I wasn't familiar with them. So I guess this is a good opportunity to test our new keyboard. We know the power button works, so let's give it a test. Okay, either something's not right with it or I'm not typing on it correctly, but probably needs to be used a little bit to get the wear out of it. Probably needs to be cleaned as well. I need professional help, don't I, folks? Yeah. Anyway, on to more goodies here. We've got, let's see, applications for OS 9. Jumpstart First Grade. Can it be run from the hard drive? Nope. We may come back to that a little bit later when I feel like grabbing the CD. Got Office 98, which is more word processing goodies. I always loved how they had the instead of the paperclip, they replaced it with a compact Mac from the 80s, early 90s. I still wouldn't mind having a old-fashioned compact Mac like that, but unfortunately I do not have the expertise to repair those things, and most of them, as you probably know, are extremely high maintenance, and I just don't have the ability to take care of that. And I'm just not interested enough to go out and get one. Got an incredible machine. And that works throughout the CD. Wow, the Sierra logo changes colors. It doesn't do that on the PC version. That's pretty cool.
Phew! Sierra!
Well, that was the same.
You know, we could sure use a little light in here.
It's the Max version of MIDI there.
That's much better. Hi, I'm Professor Tim. Welcome to the incredible machine.
course, we've seen this game many times on this channel. It's one of my childhood favorites. I was obsessed over this game to the point where I loved the music in this game so much, the CD audio version, not the MIDI, that I would take my tape recorder that had a little built-in microphone, and I would hold it up to the speaker on our Packard Bell and make an album out of it to listen to in the car. Yeah, I was that obsessed. I still need to show you guys the Incredible Toon Machine, which is basically the Incredible Machine, but cartoonier. Okay, that needs to be stretched out a little bit there. Okay, on the PC version, you're able to see beyond where I have my cursor placed right now. Oh, I'm an idiot. Scroll bars are a thing. I'll get the help I need someday, folks. I promise. Okay, you know what? Enough of that. We've seen this too many times. Okay, oh, and you can't have an old Mac without Stuffed Expander. At ease, that was basically a graphical user interface thing, kind of like Packard Bell Navigator, but for Macintoshes. But I think it was intended for children, but I've never been able to get it to install on here for some reason. Full Tilt Pinball, which I never knew worked on Macs until this year. Kid Pix. Oh, you gotta have Kid Pix on a Mac. I remember playing this on the iMac G3s at school. I remember we had to use Kid Pix on the iMac to create these maps of Greensboro, because we were learning about maps at the time, and we used Kid Pix to make the maps. So that was pretty interesting. That's kind of how my Rogue Geek persona came to be, thanks to that. Wait, that was in 2nd grade, I think, so that wouldn't have been on an iMac. It was on one of the Power Mac all-in-ones. I forget the exact models of those. Again, Macs are not my expertise, and I don't know what I'm drawing. But I do know this is my favorite part of the game.
5, 4,
3,
2, 1.
0.
Huh?
Okay. Alright, head on to something else. And yes, I've got my utilities. And SimCity 2000, I can't remember if I got that going or not. I know I had trouble with SimCity Classic because it wanted to go into like black and white mode or something, or 16 color mode, and this Macintosh doesn't support that, so it doesn't want to work. And only have word munchers. You gotta have word munchers on this. And number munchers, which I don't have on here quite yet. Okay, we gotta manually change the color depth. Played this all the time on the Macs at school. I always preferred this over Number Munchers because I've never been good at math. Air as in chair. Okay. Layer. Chair, obviously. Pair, share. Where. Pair. Where. Snare. Share. Blair. Is that Grimace from the McDonald's commercials? Okay. Some of these arrow keys on this keyboard are a little bit on the flaky side. I don't want any function keys. Okay, enough of that. Keyboard isn't wanting to cooperate there. Guess I'm able to type my name though. Okay, unmount the disk image. Okay. Anything else? Oh yeah, we got After Dark, but I think I was having trouble with that last time I used this computer. I was only able to get Starry Night to work. So I tried to add some other modules, but I was having trouble with memory problems. Oh, and that's not helping matters either. So, let's play one more game. And this will require a CD. Okay, this is for YouTuber Elmo3 because he claims the MIDI sounds better on this version of the game than it does on the Windows version. This is 3D Ultra Pinball, one of the very first computer games I ever played. This is the Mac version. Oh yeah, now I remember I was having trouble with the CD-ROM last time I used this computer. I think it needs a new drive completely. And I can probably get one on eBay relatively cheap. It just hasn't been near a priority enough to do so. I did see it on the hard drive though. So maybe it'll run completely off the drive. Let's see. Nope. So apparently I was able to install it before, so I don't know why it's not working now, but then keep in mind this is the first time this computer's been turned on in 6 months, so it probably needs to get its act back together. So got a plan B. I bought this at Goodwill last week. Arthur's Teacher Trouble from Living Books. Of course, I already have my copy from when I was a kid, but this was $1 at Goodwill, so I couldn't pass it up. And plus, these are very, very Mac-friendly games. Assuming the CD-ROM will work. The last CD was a recorded CD, so that may have had something to do with our problem. But we may still be dealing with a problem here. Yeah, this drive is wanting to let go. Which is a shame. It's trying to do something, but at least these drives, from what I can tell, are pretty easy to replace. I know the later G3 iMacs used slot loading CD-ROMs, which or even more unreliable. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be playing any CDs on this computer tonight. So I'm definitely gonna have to look into replacing the CD drive, which is a shame. I was really hoping to show you a CD game working tonight, but I guess we've seen enough tonight anyway, so at least we know the computer itself still works for the most part. Oh yeah, I forgot to show I'm still using the hockey puck mouse there. So yeah, we did accomplish that. We did discover this computer still works, aside from the optical drive. And the new keyboard works, kind of. So, I guess that'll do it for this video. Till next time, this is Billy Core, signing off. Thank you for visiting the Nostalgia Mall. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also support me on Patreon if you would like. The link to all of these are down below. Until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off.